Okay, everyone, welcome back to our Facebook Live with Cat Love. Technical difficulties never escaped anyone. That is true. We were talking about copywriting. What is copywriting? And we answered that question. And now a little bit, what made you drill into that specific component of helping therapists with their copywriting and writing in general?
Yeah. So I already mentioned that I started out doing the design piece of websites. And I think what I just experienced over the years is seeing that how websites bring together so many different things. And one of the things that my website design clients were consistently getting stuck on was, okay, you can put together the images and the colors and the layouts and the fonts and like build out the platform. Like you can do everything when it comes to that, Cat, but what am I supposed to put on, like what am I supposed to write on the website?
Right.
So it was like a huge pain point, and it seemed like it wasn't really easy to address for a lot of small solo practices and therapists. So yeah, I started helping with that as well.
Lovely.
Do you feel
Yeah.
like solos or groups need copywriting more? Is it equal? Is there like where are the biggest problems maybe? And who
Yeah.
needs copy at the highest level?
I think everybody needs copy. And so it's mostly for every practice, whether it's a solo or a group, it's just a matter of like how. So it's like you need copy if you're going to have a business, if you're going to have a practice. And yeah, the options are to do it yourself, to write it yourself, to learn how to write copy, to use tools that are available, or to hire someone to do it for you. And so there's some amount of needing to navigate what's the right fit for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you listed out some great options. Learn it, do it yourself, collaborate, pay someone to do it. Um, when someone is thinking about learning it and doing it themselves, let's kind of use that as the entry point. What are the things that they should know, consider as they're like wrapping their head around how do I fill my website with great content that attracts and converts clients? Like, what have you seen there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing to understand is that copywriting is a learnable skill. So even though it feels extremely overwhelming when you don't really know anything about it, you'll just be sitting in front of your computer with like, a blank document or, in front of your website software trying to fill in the blanks, and it will feel really overwhelming or maybe even excruciating trying to think of like, okay, what should go here, what should go there. But there are a lot of resources out there, both free and premium, that can help you learn the skill of writing, learn the skill of copywriting. So I think that knowing that paired with also the fact that you already know what you need to know in order to write great copy, that's also something really important to know that could maybe take that stress down a little bit for you. Because over the years, I found that the therapists that I work with, almost every single one, if I just ask them the right types of questions, the information that needs to be on their website is right there. Like there's no resistance to, the empathy that you need in order to write good copy. There's no resistance to the, understanding, the benefits or the values or the things that the positive outcomes that you can deliver on. So, the information. It's just a matter of like figuring out that bridge from where you're at now with not knowing where to start to figuring out what the right fit support is for you so that you can get those things that you have in your brain and in your heart out onto your website.
Yeah, that's some incredible, process there. Essentially, most, if not all, therapists are already equipped with the content they need, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it comes to good versus great copywriting, what do you think is the big gap there, or can you distill that out for us?
Um, so many things come to mind, but one of the things that came to me first was this idea of being a really good listener. I think that great copy is copy that's really listened to the client that you want to attract. And what I mean by that is, listening to what it is that they're struggling with, the moments of tension that they have in their life at the time that they're looking for a therapist, the types of struggles in their day to day, like really listening to that and the ability to reflect that, and then also to reflect the benefits or the outcomes that they're wanting. Like when they come to your therapy office for the first time, what are the types of things that they're saying they want out of therapy with you? And then I would say maybe a third one would be like listening to their concerns about therapy, the therapy process itself, and being able to address those concerns. So it all really comes down to your ability to listen and then reflect that in the copy that you write.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, you guys as therapists do this all the time, but just in a slightly different venue. You have that person sit across from you and you ask a question. What are you struggling with? What are you going through? Where did this start? Fill in the blank for all of these things. How do you help, or how do you suggest a counselor turn that listening skill into an outward writing into their website? Like how do they turn listening on through their website, through their Psychology Today?
Yeah, I think the first step to that is really being intentional. Therapists, as you've mentioned, they're listening all the time. It's like literally their job description, part of their skill set as a qualified professional to listen and to be really good at listening. But the first step is really to take that same listening skill and then start to put it into some type of a system that makes it easy for you to remember the types of things that are really effective at connecting and showing that you understand your potential client in your website copy. So like one idea for that would be to start a journal where like after a first phone call or a first session with someone that is a really good fit client for you, you hang up the phone or close the Zoom call or whatever, and you just write down a few of the phrases that they used when they were describing their experience. And you can almost literally take those sentences and those phrases and just put them on your website. Like even just that is like such a good start to writing copy that is really effective.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, because they're able to then, when future clients come to that website or that Psychology Today profile, it will feel similar, it will feel real from the client's perspective rather than from the clinician's perspective.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we're moving away from like the psychobabble naturally in that process. We're moving away naturally also from, things like just talking about your modalities, like, the My Approach page that goes into CBT and like the benefits of CBT maybe a little bit, or like the history of it, like moving away from that and instead towards this like really connecting reflection of what it is that where the clients are and where they want to go.
Yeah.
I love that. So you said you got your start with design, like web design. I feel like the website process is like overall exhausting for so many therapists. Do you feel like how does design and copy combine in a way that is not exhausting, I guess? Is there like a focused way? Is there a streamlined way? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two answers that I want to give you. The first is just to validate that it is a lot of work and it can be very overwhelming, and it is normally pretty overwhelming for most therapists. But I think the way to get out of it being so overwhelming is to be mindful of the type of support that you need. So I think what I've observed over the 8 years in this space doing websites, writing websites, designing websites, is that each therapist comes into the website process in a very different place. So unlike a business that, has a marketing team, the solo therapist and even the group practice therapist, well, oftentimes they're wearing the hat of being that marketing professional for their practice. And what that means is that you might want to, like, what I would suggest is like taking a step back and examining, okay, what skills does my marketing person have? And you're analyzing yourself. You're saying, okay, I actually love writing. Like when I love journaling, I love creative writing, and like I would actually really love to write. But when it comes to like visual stuff, oh my gosh, like that's really overwhelming. I don't know what pictures look good. I don't know anything about that, right? And so it's kind of like take a step back and do a self-assessment and try to start to understand which aspects of the website are fun, fulfilling, or easy for you. And then which aspects of the website feel like get you into that overwhelmed state where it's just like, this is too much. I don't know what I'm doing. It gets, disorienting maybe, because those are the pieces that you may want to find more support with if that's a course, a tool, or hiring out completely.
Yeah. And I think for any of you who are listening and are ready or wanting to dive down the rabbit hole of this website and of this copywriting, Kat just laid out a really phenomenal framework, which is essentially catalog your strengths and your places where you receive energy from actually doing on a marketing front, and then catalog your needs and be confident and aggressive about receiving support. And that's probably going to cost money. That's probably going to cost time. It's going to cost something one way or another to fulfill those needs. But it's a very holistic approach to getting a very difficult and typically overwhelming thing done for your business. So, I really appreciate that perspective.
Awesome.
When it comes to like assets, we've talked websites. You mentioned Psych Today earlier, or Good
Yeah.
Therapy. What are some of the biggest assets that are either used, right? Like you sit down and actually do this with a therapist. And what are some of the assets that maybe some therapists are not thinking about maybe getting copy help with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest places for copy are usually going to be a therapist website and the Psychology Today. Some therapists who are venturing into ads are also going to need copy. So whether that be like Google Ads or Facebook Ads or any other social platform. But I think there's also some amount of overlap also into what we would call content marketing. So it's not exactly directly considered to be copywriting because you're in the marketing department when you do content and not in the sales department. But I think that good content, so content being for your blog or for short form video content, maybe you're venturing into doing TikTok or even like the Instagram captions that you're writing. A lot of those will also benefit from copywriting influence because good content marketing is also good sales. Yeah, so I don't know. It almost feels like, where is copy not appearing when it comes to your sales and marketing? It's like everything needs to be written and could benefit from kind of sales copywriting approach.
Yeah. So earlier you mentioned the journal activity of just writing down key phrases, key moments, other things to have a more client-centric and like those be seeds for what you put in places and write content on and such. What are some other tips, suggestions for counselors wanting to improve their copy and improve their writing skill?
Yeah. I think Let's see. What are some good things? I think I did mention a few of the common mistakes already, but I think that another good practice to start keeping in mind, and this is also kind of goes into what I would call like more like personal development and healing that will help you succeed more in your private practice. And that is like paying attention to your aversion to doing sales, because that often, very often does show up in your copy. Yeah, like, so if you have any like nervousness around like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to, like sales is like yucky, or like, also this overlaps with like all of your money mindset stuff. Because I can actually I can share like a few ways that I see it come out. One
Please.
way is therapists will write what is supposed to be a sales page on their website, but instead of it being a sales page, it's educational. So they'll say, oh, depression, do you have this type of depression or this type of depression? And did you know that, this many percentage of people struggle with depression in the United States? And so what they're essentially doing is they're getting around doing sales. And I think it might, I'm guessing, of course, but I think that stuff like this happens when you're not completely comfortable in embracing the fact that that depression therapy page is a sales page of a website. It's not supposed to be like educational, or like, it's not supposed to replace Wikipedia. Like, people have Google if they're really looking for educational content. The reason they're on your website is because they've already identified, like, I need help. I want to invest in feeling better and not feeling depressed anymore. And so, I think, I don't even remember what the question was. I just got so into it. But
that's an excellent,
Answer.
that was an excellent answer, actually. Super smart. Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of, I actually want you to take that a step further, and so I'll re-ask a question in a slightly different way. You just described avoiding having great copy on your website because of internal conflict or internal competence issues around selling yourself, or not. I know I've seen this. Some counselors don't know that they're actually supposed to be forward-facing, salesy with heavy quotations on their website. So take that one step further and talk to the counselor who's struggling a little bit with having their website as a piece of sales collateral instead of just an information piece about them. How do you successfully have sales collateral as a therapist without it being gross and getting through, some of the things you just described?
yeah, I think it really starts with acceptance of like an acknowledgement that that's where you're at. I don't ever want to encourage like shaming or, not embracing the parts of you that might feel like sales is yucky, or it gives you some type of like, trigger to something that is a work in progress in your healing. And I think that it's also an opportunity to, in parallel, also like do things that disconfirm any of those beliefs that are coming up for you about yourself. I think a lot of them are going to be about like worth, like I'm not worthy or I'm not deserving, or you get the kind of like over responsibility, like it's my responsibility to fix people. Why would I charge money for that? Right? There's like a lot of things that could come up. So acknowledging that, but also being like, okay, like maybe this is actually an opportunity for me to heal. Like, can I use, my business in a way that can actually complement the work that I'm doing to take care of myself and progress in my personal growth. Because if you're able to get to that place, then you can actually start to turn that self-connection towards like a curiosity of like, this could be, something that really helps, yeah, it just helps my growth. And what if sales wasn't this yucky thing? And what if it was something that was easy? Or what if it was something that helped me help more people, or helped me, like just
Yeah.
add to this movement of healing the world, which is really where therapists are coming from. So also remembering, like, you're selling a healing and helping service, and you are healing and helping the world, and it's just a matter of getting to a place where you're confident.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like we should probably have you in to talk about a whole sales framework interview as well at some point. Because you have some great comments to share there, I'm sure, as you just had. Well, as we kind of wrap up our time together, I want to draw anyone who's watching this attention to a little bit further to you, Kat, of how you help therapists with some of the fragments in a deeper way that we went through today. So maybe share a little bit more about what you do as a profession, right? Like, what services do you even have available for counselors, and how does someone know that they might be a great fit to work with you?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So at the current moment, I offer a few different services. I do have one-on-one coaching available, so marketing and just holding space for your process of showing up stronger in your marketing and following through, taking action. And I also have a website design service and a website writing service. My writing service is called Empathy Copy. It is my answer to the call in the therapist space for a website service that is easy and fast and also affordable. It's a software. You sign up, you answer some questions about who you are and who you help, and it will generate a page of your website for you. Therapists love it. It's really been successful, so I'm really happy with that. And then I've just started barely opening my website design platform as well, called Empathy Sites.
Okay, lovely. So I'm hearing a couple things from you, but one of the main things is those questions that you said that therapists have, answers to already inside of themselves. Put that in a format and in a framework with some software that will easily and efficiently ask those questions and spit out some of the great answers that they already have with them. And I'm guessing that they can access that through your main website, which is listed on the relevant links here, and kind of go through there. What else do you want to leave any listeners today with? Any nuggets, any next steps, anything else as we kind of wrap up our time together?
I love you. That's really it. Yeah. I'm grateful to be in this space, and I just want to wish everyone the best. So, yeah.
Kat, it was a It was a pleasure having you today. You dropped some great wisdom for those pushing in and becoming more experienced copywriters and more wholesome sales professionals for their business. So I hope if you have any questions, I'm sure that Kat would be more than willing to answer them on this thread that you're watching this video on. Of course, reach out to her. Katlove.com, I believe, is just your main website. And then stick around, ask questions in the Facebook group and beyond. Kat Love is a part of it, so I'm sure you'll see her face more often until the next conversation here.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.